everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I'm excited about this one. It's our mid-season player ratings. Now you can vote for these through the unitedstand.com. I've dropped the link in the video description. We mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average, based on their performances so far this season. And we're going to do the 3 managers as well. Solskjaer, Carrick and obviously Ranić. Early days for him, but really excited to do it. And I'm going to be very interested to see who is voted for, because obviously when I vote, it will aggregate your votes that you've done already, and then we'll be able to see who's voted the player of the year so far. So lots to get involved in that. A big shout out to Manscaped as well for sponsoring this. They've been part of the idea to do it. Manscaped is leader in men's below the waist grooming, as you know. They now help keep more than 4 million men worldwide looking on point in the areas it really matters. So if you still have a jungle in your parts down there, then have a good listen as to why you should get yourself the Lawnmower 4.0. As I say, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. They've got a new multifunctional on and off switch, plus travel lock created for people who like to travel. The ability to turn the LED light on and off when you need a more precise shave. It really does light it up down there. And the new trimmer allows you to customise your trim lengths as well, because they're fully adjustable. It's sleek with a 2-toned matte finish, and even comes with a hot foil stamped black chrome Manscaped sign. Very fancy. And it's also got electromagnetic induction, which can help with the charging. It's wireless charging as well. You just dock it in the docking point. Very, very fancy. And alongside the new Lawnmower 4.0, you can get the performance package, which includes the Weed Whacker, obviously the Lawnmower 4.0. Nearly turned that on again. Did. Lawnmower to do your nasal hair. Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, very comfy boxer shorts and a travel bag, which I use every time I'm travelling. So fantastic products, and because Manscaped care about everyone who watches the United Stand, they're giving you a huge 20% off with free worldwide shipping when you click the link in the channel description. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Manscaped and get your offer through the United Stand. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Fantastic products, stocking fillers, or just nice presents for yourself to groom. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. And I tell you what, have these United players this season shown enough balls? You see what I did there with Manscaped? Trim. Have they shown enough balls? I think some of them haven't. I don't think they have. I think this season I would describe Manchester United very much like, when you go to a nice restaurant and... you might not order this at a nice restaurant, but I go to a nice restaurant, I order a really, really good quality steak, a nice bowl of frites or chips, and some roasted carrots and some broccoli, and it all comes out, and the chips are cold, the steak is overdone, and the vegetables they've not been cooked properly, they're hard. Now, what do? Do you sit there and go, this is acceptable, or do you sit there and go, this is not what I ordered, send it back? And I feel that that's what we've been treated to United. We had fine dining. The menu looked great at the start of the season, but what we've been served up has been piss poor. If we're on TripAdvisor, it would be 1 star, not 5 in general. So how have the players geared up and performed individually? So let's start off with David De Gea. And to be honest, we're going to be starting off with a good start. And I'm going to go straight away with an 8 with David De Gea. 8.6 from you so far. We've had 3,000 votes so far, so obviously this might change. But 8.6. I mean, mate, you know what? High five. Merry Christmas. The Christmas tree is up. You know what? I'm impressed that you've given him 8.6, because for me, 6 is average, 7 is good, 8 is very good, 9 is exceptional, and 10 is perfect. So that's how I look at it. 5 is below average, and 4 is poor, 3 is crap, and 2 is, you go down like that. So 8, I would put him as very, very good. You're touching on exceptional. I think you're probably right. I think he has been exceptional this season. Clearly, I think he'll be one of the favourites to win Player of the Year. I'll come back to that in a minute, but you need to put a star next to your 1. So I might be putting the star next to David De Gea. But he's been fantastic this season. There's no doubt about that. And I'll leave the star there for now, but he would be my first contender. Dean Henderson. Right, Dean Henderson this season, it's very difficult. He's hardly played. I mean, we're judging them on their season. There's mitigating circumstances, of course, but it would have to be a 5 for me. 5.5 for you. Yeah, below average for Dean. And I think, I always look at it with players like Dean, how would they mark this season? And it's not been the season they wanted. There was rumours, it just goes to show Solskjaer's, failure in the final few months. Dean Henderson was going to be his number 1 goalkeeper this season. That was the big rumour. Dean unfortunately got COVID, and then De Gea kept his spot and has been brilliant. But imagine if De Gea had not been the number 1 and he'd gone with Henderson. Could Henderson have put in the performances that De Gea has done over the last 4 months. I don't think he could have done. So that would have been another mistake by Solskjaer. So, but on a personal note, Dean Henderson should be playing first team football. I think he's a very good goalkeeper who's still learning his trade. He can't learn it from the bench. He needs to move on. So it's a below average season for him so far. And I think Wan-Bissaka as well, if we're being absolutely honest. I personally would give him a generous 6, but I'm not surprised that you are giving him a below average. I think I'm probably being a bit too generous giving him an average 6 because I don't believe he has been playing to his average status. He probably has been a bit lower. So, actually, look, I'm just being too generous. It's got to be a 5. And I think Wan-Bissaka himself would see that. It's been a below average season for him, especially, when you look at the final few weeks of Solskjaer. And I don't think he had a bad start. I think there was a few games at the start where he played quite well. But in general, that defence at the end under Solskjaer was poor, and obviously he's not played since Solskjaer's been sacked. So, yeah, below average for Wan-Bissaka, but I still haven't given up on him. I still think he's a very good right-back. This is moving a bit slower than I would like here. That's how you do it. There we go. So, Diego Dalot, look, I'm only going to give him a 6, and I agree with people who give him a 6.4. I'm only going to give him a 6 because he's really only started 2 or 3 games. And up until that point, he'd had 1 game against... who did we play in the Champions League that he played not very well against? Villarreal. He was very poor in the home game there, and but in the last couple of games he's been good. So I think if you'd asked me this a month ago, I'd have put Dalot down at a 5. The fact that he's on the up, and maybe by the end of the season he could be up at a 7 or an 8. So there's work to do for Dalot, but he started to do that work, which is great. Now Varane for me, I would give him a 7. I understand why people might give him a 6, but I would give Varane a 7 because when he has played, there's been a huge difference. Now, he's not played under Rangnick yet, but when he was playing in the games under Ollie, we played really well. We weren't getting smashed. I don't think Varane played in any game that we got smashed this season. I don't think he played against Leicester, Liverpool, City, Varane. Didn't play against Watford. I might be wrong on one of those, but when Varane's played, we've looked a lot better. The problem with Varane has been injury. So for when he's played, I'd give him a 7. Obviously, if he gets injured 2 or 3 more times between now and May, I'd probably have to drop it to a 6, just pure on injury. But on performance, when he's played, I'd give him a 7 comfortably. Lindelof, look, let's not rewrite history. I'll give him a 6. Recently, he's been better, but he was part of the team that was very poor, and he has made mistakes, and he's also been good. So I'd give him an average 6 for Lindelof. I'm not going to rewrite history. We're in a different position because we've got Rangnick, but Rangnick's time at United is 2 Premier League games. We've played, it's probably less than 10% of our games that we've played so far. So 6 for me for Lindelof. Maguire, look, honestly, 5, 4.2. I think that's a bit harsh. He's not had a very good season. Leadership-wise, we're not arguing. We're not marking him as a captain. We're marking him as a footballer. Below average. He's been playing when he's not been fit. We know that, but certainly I would say below average from Harry Maguire this season. Looks better under Rangnick already, and there is still that opportunity to do what he did last season. He started last season poorly, came back and had a good end to the season from January to May. Hopefully we'll see that under Rangnick in a better organisation, but certainly a below season for him. Eric Bailly, again, just hardly played. I'd almost give him a 5.5. Now, people are going to give him a 6. It's probably harsh of me to give him a 5.5. I can't do 0.5, so I would give him a 5.5 because he's not played enough. When he has played, he's looked good, but he's not played enough. Played against Chelsea, gets dropped for the game against Arsenal. It's like he just doesn't play enough. When he does play, he doesn't let us down. But I bet he hasn't started 3 games this year. Needs to play more. Will he play more? Ultimately, I can't give him an average season because I just don't think he's being given the opportunities. Luke Shaw, by his high standards, has got to be a 5, and that's the closest we've been with your 4.9. Yeah, you've got to give Luke Shaw a 5. He's below what he was a year ago. A year ago, last season, you'd be giving him 8s. Now he's dropped a little bit, but and he's got competition from Tellez, so he's just got a bit like Harry Maguire. He's got to take that. He's got to move through the gears. Again, Tellez for me, very easy as a 6. I agree. Average. Only really come into the team the last 2 games. Up until that point, you'd be giving him a 5. So a little bit like Dalot. He's on the up. Let's see what he can do with it. Fred's so difficult because if you're marking Fred on the games he's played for Rangnick, you're going to give him a 7. But if you're going to mark him on the season under Solskjaer, you're probably going to give him a 4. So I'm actually going to give him, based on the season, a 5. Now, very fair of you, generous. You're almost giving him a 6. I'm doing it on the season so far. I'm not doing it on Ranić. If this is on Ranić, I'm giving him a 7. If this is on the season so far, I look back at the start of the season where he's getting bounced about by bloody Liveramento and Wolves wingers and, you know, bad passes here, there and everywhere. To be honest with you, if I was doing this before Ranić came in, I'd probably give him a 4. So he's a little bit like Telles and Delot. They've probably got a point more just from what they're doing under Ranić. And I do feel that Fred, by the end of the season, could get up to 6, 7s, hopefully even an 8. But at the moment, I'd still say he's a 5, coming back from a really low score under Ollie. It's a season so far. It's not a Ranić so far. Matic, again, 5 for me. Look, why is he here? I still think he's our best CDM, but clearly doesn't have the legs for it. So, yeah, he's done okay in a few games we've seen him, but he's also played in games like Leicester where he was bloody shit. So 5 for me for Matic, and it's hard to see what his future at United is when he's not given one. Scott McTominay, probably give him a 4.5, so I'd give a 5. Really, no, actually I have to go 4 to go 4.5, don't I? Yeah, if I'm giving Fred a 5, I've got to give McTominay a point below that. I don't think he's had a very good season at all. I think he was good against Leeds. I think he was better against Norwich and better against Palace, but I think I gave him a 6 in both. Again, he's another player that I think under Ranić has to move up, and there's lots of scope for him to move up, but we're talking about season so far. Most of that season so far has been under Solskjaer, and under Solskjaer, I thought he was dreadful. What really, really bad. So he's got to do better, of course. And I feel bad giving McTominay and Fred 5s and 4s. Or I wouldn't give McTominay a 4, by the way. I'd give him 4.5. I'd give him 4.5 and I'd give Fred 5. They're both better under Ranić, but large proportion of this season, it was that obsession of Ollie picking players that weren't good enough, and they were really poor. So 4.5 and 5 for Fred, and 4.5 for McTominay. Definitely better under Ranić. Think they're going to get better as well. Hopefully by the end of the season we'll be talking about 7s, but let's see. Let's wait and see. Van der Beek's got to be a 5 for me. Just not played the games. I know some of you are marking them based on the games they've played, but on the season he's had so far, it's below average. He's not been picked, whether that's his fault or not. Got to get into the team. I like Van der Beek, but I've got to be fair. I've got to give the score on season so far. He's not played enough to get 6s or 7s, and hopefully we're going to see that change, because there's definitely potential with Donny. But, some of these scores are inflicted on them by the management and the club, and he has not been... He's like Eric Bailly, 5. Donny van der Beek, 5. Definitely think they're good enough. Definitely think they could be getting 6 and 7s, but they've not been given the opportunity. They need the opportunity. Now, Bruno Fernandes is an interesting one, because I would actually give him a 6. Oh, surprised. I would give him a 6. Now, I think some people would be tempted to give him a 5, but when you look at Bruno Fernandes this season and go beyond the fact that he's not been at the level you would want, he's still right up there for assists, chances created across the whole of the Premier League, not just at Manchester United. So I agree, Bruno's one of my favourite players. He's not been hitting the levels I would like him to hit, but even though he hasn't hit those levels, he's still doing the things that put him in the sort of top 5 in the league for his position. So definitely not at the level he needs to be, and I would be tempted to give him a 5, because by his own standards I think he's below average, but actually the standards he sets, he's actually not doing too bad. Average for me. Lingard would be a 4. What's Lingard done this season? Hardly played. Sorry, not a 4, 4.5. I'd put him with McTominay. His performance against Young Boys was abysmal, absolutely abysmal. Obviously, a good goal against West Ham, but this is meant to be the season that he's breaking into the team, and he's not broken into the team. Ranić gives him an opportunity against Young Boys, and he was absolutely dreadful. I don't know why. I don't know how. 4.9 from you, 4.5 from me. I'm happy with that. Mata, to be absolutely harsh, 3. Like what? How can you give him a 4.3? Like, he's just... Why is he here? I love Juan Mata, but why is he here? What has he done when he's been here, and why is he here? I mean, he played centre midfield against Young Boys. Like, we're judging on the season so far and their usefulness towards the squad and what they've done for the squad, and there's just absolutely no point in him being here. So for me, he would be one of the lowest, even though I like, and this is why it's not about agenda or disliking a player. I like Mata, but there's no point in him being here. His usefulness to the squad, he's a 3 out of 10. It's like he's not contributing when he's used, and he doesn't get used. So for me, it's a 3. Pogba, look, start of the season looked like it was going to be amazing. Injury, obviously, and performance dropped. So 5 for me, Pogba. I said, those first couple of games of the season, he looked like he was going to be brilliant. Then Solskjaer got certain players back, took him out the left wing position, put him into the midfield, didn't work. Then he got injured. So, as I said, it looked like with Pogba at the start of the season, when he had, 5 assists in his first 3 games or something like that, it looked like Pogba was going to be unbelievable in his final year. And unfortunately, it's gone the way of every other year with Pogba, where you get moments of brilliance and moments of despair. And the despair with Pogba has been the injury, but also some of his performances in midfield, i.e. he played against Leicester, didn't he? So, yeah, I think a below average season for Pogba, when it could have been something very different. I don't know why Dan James is here. I'm tempted to give him a 9 for leaving for 25 million. Bloody hell, I can't believe we made a profit on Dan James. But yeah, I don't know what to give him really for. We move on. Jadon Sancho. I'm going to give him a generous 6, yeah. I mean, look, realistically, you should be saying, well, he hasn't played a lot. He wouldn't be happy with the start to his season. But he did start coming back into the team towards the end of Solskjaer's reign. Carrick obviously picked him. Ranić's picked him. I think when he's played, he's looked okay. I'd just say average. For a £74 million player, we're probably being a little bit generous, but, there is quality there. And really, he probably should be a 5.5, but I'm going to give him a 6. Lots to grow on from there. I mean, Ahmad, most of it's been injured. Probably just a 5. Yeah, it's hard to give someone like Ahmad a score. He's got the potential. Again, he's like Eric Bailly and Van der Beek. They've definitely got the potential to be players for Manchester United, but it's not gone well so far. So they've got the talent, but it's not gone well so far. And obviously, Ahmad was injured for a lot of it, so I'd give him a 5. Rashford, look, in all honesty, sort of falls into the Pogba category for me, a 5. One of our better players who there's been glimpses, but in the main, and again, he's a player that was injured for the start of the season, but he's just not there. He's not there. There's something not right with Rashford, and definitely got the quality, but let's be honest, he's one of the many players in a season that's been rather disappointing who's been below average. So 5 for me from Rashford. Greenwood, I actually think Greenwood's season is probably a 6.5. I'd give him a 6.5. I can't do 0.5, so I'll give him a 6. I think first few weeks of the season, I had Greenwood in my fantasy Premier League team. He was scoring goals, he was getting assists, and I think people forget that he had a really decent start to the season. And then it sort of drifted away a little bit, but still, I think the thing about Greenwood, he's got this talent, obviously, but he's also got this way of contributing, and you probably don't even realise he contributes. Like the assist for Fred in the Palace game, brilliant the way he dropped it off. And I think 6.5 for Greenwood. It could be better, but it's certainly not. I wouldn't put him in the category of the players that are below average. I don't think he's had a below average season at all. I think he's done reasonably well in a difficult season so far. Alanga's just very difficult to mark. I'd give him a 6. He's only just sort of coming into the team, and yeah, I'd give him a 6. Martial, look, let's be absolutely honest. Martial this season, do I give him a 5? I'd probably give him a 4.5, so I'll put him down to a 4. Yeah, you agree. Yeah, he's not in the Bailly, Van der Beek, Rashford category where, they have contributed a little bit. I think Martial this season has contributed next to nothing. Obviously, he's had injuries, but yeah, he's been pretty poor this season. Hindered by injuries, hindered by not getting opportunities, but it's not been the season we hoped from Martial. After last season where it just was terrible, we were hoping that this season he'd be rejuvenated. And obviously under Solskjaer that was always going to be difficult. And he seems to have turned his back on the chance to do it under Ranić, which is a shame. I mean, look, out their opinion, he might get an opportunity under Ranić have a really good end to the season. But it looks like he wants to go as well, and you can sort of see why, can't you? Cavani, Edison Cavani, probably give him a 5, 5.5 from you. Look, when he plays, you can see the talent. He just doesn't play enough. He's always injured. This is a big problem. And I'm disappointed that he apparently wants to go. But yeah, a below average season for Cavani so far, mainly because of injury. Obviously, a little bit... Well, mainly it's injury, isn't it? I certainly think under Rangnick there's an opportunity to get in the team and play, but does he want to take that opportunity? But yeah, a below average season for him. Ronaldo, viva Ronaldo. Well, Ronaldo for me, yeah, I think you've got to put Ronaldo up at an 8. Yeah, we're on the same page. I was almost thinking 7.5, but I'm going with an 8 with Ronaldo. The goals he's scored this season, and some of them have been so epic in a season that's been really quite draining so far. But that goal against Atalanta, that goal can only be scored by probably 2 or 3 players in the world. And we've got one of those players. Like, it was just unbelievable. Edge of the box, players everywhere. Keeper's got his angles right. There's a gap that big and he finds it without problem. He's just... The thing I knew about Ronaldo from his United days is that he was a winger. You know, he could run at people, he was quick and he could score goals. Well, obviously, you keep an eye on what Ronaldo's doing since he left United and he's become a number 9. What's been really eye-opening is just how he's, for me, probably the best number 9 in the world. Like, you know, Harry Kane, Lewandowski, there's a few decent number 9s out there. And Ronaldo's turned himself into, for me, the elite number 9. He's just unbelievable. Head, feet. He's a goal scorer. And I think United have failed him at times this year because we don't, you know, it's the graveyard shift. But you give him chances and he'll score great goals. And he's got us out of trouble. You know, we're in the Champions League because of him. We would not be in the Champions League if it wasn't for Ronaldo and De Gea. And he basically, in the Champions League, he's been absolutely incredible. Premier League, it's not been as good. You know, we've had some really disappointing performances, but in the Champions League, he's been superhuman at times. So I would definitely give him an 8. And just still pinching myself that we've got him back. So, and he'd be a contender for Player of the Season so far. Solskjaer, we're on to the managers now. Okay, I mean, look, in all honesty, you can be polite if you want to because he's already got the sack. But if he hadn't had the sack and we were doing this honestly, I think I dread to think what score he would get. Look, it's not been average. It's not been below average. It's been poor. It's how poor has it been? Has it been 4 poor or has it been 3 poor? And I think with Solskjaer, look, he himself said title challenges in April. We weren't even title challengers in September. It was gone. Some of the defeats were humiliating. Liverpool, Man City, Leicester, Watford. The football just didn't evolve from last year. There was no evolution. The same reliance on the same tactics. He was out of his depth. So if you've given him lower than a 4, I get it. I would probably give him a 3.5, 2.8. So yeah, it just wasn't good. On this season, we're not talking about what he did, about structure apparently, or finals or any semi-finals. On this season alone, yeah, I would give him 3.5. You've gone 2.8. Carrick, average 6. You know, average. In his 2 games, we got 2 decent results, but I wouldn't say the football was any better than it was under Ollie. And he was a big problem in the part under Ollie. But in relation to the 2 games, I think he did reasonably well. I'll give him a 6. And Rangnick, look, it's early days with Ralph. It's too early. You know, half an hour against Palace, it was fantastic. Norwich was very disappointing. He's had 2 games in charge. We don't really know what his plan is with the squad. We don't really know what his plan is in relation to removing players. We don't really know what his long-term objective is in relation to bringing players in. So I can't start jumping and giving 8s and 7s. I'd give him a 6.5. It's ridiculously early days to even consider. So 6.5, and you've gone 6.7. I completely agree. So we've got a lot of people going in between like 6 and 7. So that's absolutely fine. Remember, you can do your votes and get involved. It will change because obviously the more people who watch this video, the more people are going to do their votes. So it's going to change every time you do it. So do check it out. Links in the video description for it. So let's submit the vote. I am going to keep David De Gea as my player of the season so far. And 71% of you, let me just move it up, 71% of you agree with that. David De Gea is your player of the season so far. Quite a large score as well. As if I just take a quick look, so Cristiano Ronaldo had 15%, and then there's varying others. Even Bruno, I think, is in third there with 2%. But yeah, I mean, it's a landslide from David De Gea, and then Ronaldo's not far off. I mean, yeah, I'm not happy to see David De Gea in that position, but it's completely right, and it evidences the season we've had so far. In general, if I was giving Man United in general a score for the season so far, I'd put it sort of right 4. You know, Rangnick's been here for a slither of time. That doesn't move away from the fact that the vast majority of this season has been poor. 4 out of 10. So, and that's reflected in David De Gea, who has been, you know, he's the goalkeeper, which means he's been busy. You don't want your goalkeeper getting Player of the Year. Peter Schmeichel, Van der Sar, they never got Player of the Year because it was all going on at the other end. Very good goalkeepers, but we didn't rely on them to the extent that we've had to rely on David De Gea numerous seasons over the last 9 years. So that needs to change between now and the end of the season. And to be honest with you, for somebody to take Player of the Year off David De Gea, even in May, we're going to have to motor in the second half of the season. And maybe Ronaldo can do that. You know, maybe Bruno can find his form again. Someone like Sancho. But as things stand, this has not been the season we wanted it to do. There's lots to be focused on. There's lots to be excited about. We've certainly turned a page and we've hit that reset button. But it's not been good enough so far, and I think that's why there's a volume of players that are below average this season. I mean, how many players actually were above average? Ronaldo's 1, Greenwood's 2, Sancho's just above with 3. So we're 3. Bruno 4, just above. Tellez 5. Bay for you is 6. Lindelof 7, Varane 8, Delot 9, 10. So over 50% of the squad is below average. And, you know, Delot and Tellez are only getting that based on their last 2 games as well. So there's a lot of work for that squad to do. That's why the reset was needed under Rangnick. Please smash. I really enjoyed doing that. I liked doing that. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and you can do your votes through the link in the video description. Big shout out to Manscaped. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Get your products. Treat yourself. I might have to treat myself now. They're very sturdy, you see. I did that on purpose. Very, very sturdy. Very well made. Very good products. 20% off. Links in the video description for Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger and groom yourself around here with the Weed Whacker. Or just get one. Links in the video description. 20% off. Free worldwide shipping. Big shout out to Manscaped. I've turned it on again and again. And I'll speak to you all soon. Smash a like on the video. Really enjoyed it and get involved.